Hi, this is Katie, and I'm going to be leading you through a 60-minute gentle yoga class. It's going to be also sensitive to trauma, so just know that I will be informing the practice after that. I'm going to offer a lot of gentle poses and a lot of variations for these different poses, so know that you're welcome to take any of the variations that I provide. You're also able to take any other variations that you know and that work for your body. Also, everything that I offer you today will just be a suggestion. You're welcome to do any part of this practice that you want. It's also your choice to take a break or stop if there's a certain pose or a particular part of this that is not serving you, or you have pain or discomfort. It's your option to just stop, and maybe you take a seat or lie on your back and just rejoin when you're ready. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's find a comfortable seat. I'm also not going to be using any props today. I do recommend props, but I know that not everybody has them. So just, you'll know there's different places where you can use a block for your hands, but I'm going to show you all of these poses without props just in case. So let's go ahead and get started. Find a comfortable seat on your mat. We'll find a place for your hands to rest. Maybe that's on your legs, maybe that's on the ground beside you. And I'll invite you to soften your gaze, or maybe you close your eyes. We're just going to start to connect to this practice, connect to ourselves. If it's helpful, you can begin to notice your breath. If it's not helpful, maybe you just begin to notice something that you're touching. And for this practice today, I'd like to offer the use of an anchor. So what I mean by that is something that you can come back to if you find that something has come up. Maybe you're distracted by your thoughts or something else. And an anchor may be something like the sensation of breath. So that may be the rise and fall of your chest. That may be the breath entering your body, traveling through your body, and exiting. That may be something that you're touching. So maybe where your hands are, maybe if they're on the mat, or like right now, my sit bones are touching the mat, so I might place my anchor there. Another option might be something that you hear, just something to come back to at any point throughout this practice. So now it'll be your turn to find what your anchor is going to be today. And then when you're ready, we'll be in this seated shape, and we're going to move through a few cat and cows. So maybe your hands are resting on your legs at this point. Then we're going to lift our chest and lift our gaze. And then we're going to drop our chin and round our spine. We'll kind of go back and forth. So lifting your gaze and your chest, then dropping your chin, rounding the spine. We'll move through a few of these at your own pace. This is really your practice and your chance to decide what you want to do when. If you feel like you'd like to hold one of these shapes a little bit longer, you're welcome to do so. And then maybe you'll finish up your rounds and return to a neutral spine and we'll be seated. And we're going to bring our arms out to the side and lift them up overhead. Maybe your palms are touching, or maybe they're just over your head. Then we're going to bring our palms down in front of our heart. Let's do that a couple more times. And let's do one more time as we bring our arms up. We're going to do a twist towards the right. So bring your left hand onto your right knee. Your right hand is going to go behind you. We're just going to gaze over our right shoulder, remembering to breathe as we hold this shape. And then when you're ready, we'll bring those arms right back overhead. We'll bring the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind the body, sitting up tall, maybe just gazing over your left shoulder. We're going to breathe as we sit here in this shape. We'll bring our arms back up. We're going to do a lateral stretch. So we're going to bring this right hand down to the mat. We're going to sweep this left arm over the body, keeping both of our sit bones grounded. You may notice a sensation on the left side of the body. And we're going to breathe as we're here in this shape. We'll bring both arms up. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So your left hand is going to come down beside you on the mat. Sweep this right arm over your body, keeping both of our sit bones grounded. May notice a sensation on the right side of the body. Then we're going to continue to breathe. And we'll come back with our arms overhead, bring our hands down in front of our heart. So we're going to link all three of those different shapes together. So let's raise our arms overhead, bringing our hands to touch right in front of us. Let's sweep our arms overhead again. Our left hand to our right knee, our right hand behind us, twisting towards the right. Breathing, a couple of inhales and exhales. And we'll bring our hands overhead. We'll twist to the other side, so your right hand to your left knee, your left hand behind you, sitting up tall, glancing over your left shoulder. We'll go through a couple rounds of breath here. Then when you're ready, bring your arms back overhead. We're going to do that lateral stretch. So right hand down on the mat, left arm is sweeping over the body. We'll breathe a couple times here. Arms up top to meet. Left hand down on the ground, sweeping right arm over your body, breathing a couple of times here. And we'll bring both hands up overhead, bringing them down in front of you. Let's move through that one more time at your own pace. You can follow along with me, or you can just go at your own speed. And then we'll all just meet at this comfortable seat. And we'll raise our gaze and look forward. We're going to drop our right ear over to our right shoulder. we'll just drop that down. You may notice a sensation on the left side of your neck. You may want to take your left hand and kind of stretch it out beside you, see if there's any change in how this shape feels. Then we'll bring our head back to neutral. And we'll drop our left ear to our left shoulder. We may stay right here. You may notice a sensation on the right side of our neck. Maybe we want to stretch our right arm out long. Notice any changes in the shape when we do this. And when you're ready, bring your head back to neutral. So we're going to take our right arm, stretch it out to the side long. Maybe you wiggle your fingers or curl your fingers in and stretch them out. And then we're going to sweep this arm across the body, cradle it with the left arm. This is called thread the needle. Let's sweep that right arm out to the side. Wiggle your fingers. And we'll bring it across the body, cradle it with the left arm. And let's do that one more time, stretching that right arm out long, bringing it right back across the body, holding it with your left arm. And we'll stay here for a few moments, maybe noticing a stretch in your right arm. And then we'll stretch that arm out long and then bring it back to our legs. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So we'll stretch that left arm out towards the left. Maybe wiggle your fingers or curl your fingers in, stretch them out wide. And we'll sweep this left arm across the body, cradling it with the right arm. Bringing it out to the left again, sweeping it back across the body, holding it with the right arm. And then one more time if you'd like, bringing it out long and across the body. And then we'll bring that arm back out to the side. We'll take our right arm out to the side really wide, maybe wiggling your fingers. And then bring it in and give yourself a hug, maybe dropping your chin, rounding your spine. Let's do that one more time, stretching the arms out, curling in, giving yourself a big hug. And then we'll release that. So now we're going to move into our tabletop position. So if you do have a blanket, you may want to place that underneath your knees. If you have tricky wrists, you're welcome to take this on your forearms like this. Maybe your elbow is going to be a little in front of your shoulder, so we're not putting any pressure there. The other option for tabletop would be with the palms of your hands on the mat. Let's place our hands down in front of our shoulders like this. And I think today I'm going to use the forearm variation, so I'm going to bring my forearms down to the mat. So it looks like this. We're going to work on a spinal balance. So let's start with our right foot extended. Your toes are going to be on the ground. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you'd like to play around with pressing back with your heel and then maybe releasing that. Just that slight, gentle movement. You're welcome to stay still. And you're welcome to keep this foot grounded, or maybe you'd like to lift it up, maybe just a few inches. We don't want to dump on the left side of our body, so let's try to keep the Pressure even between our forearms. Maybe you'd like to lift this foot up so that it's kind of even with your hips. We're not going to open up our hips. We're going to kind of keep them level to the ground. And whether your foot is on the ground or it's extended, we're all going to bend our knee and kind of bring it in as far as we can, rounding the spine, bringing it back out. Let's do that again. So bend that knee, bring it in towards your nose. We'll straighten it out again. Let's do that one more time. So bring that knee in. Maybe we're holding it here for 3, 2, 1. Straightening that leg out. Dropping your toes down towards the ground. And then bringing your knee underneath your hips. Maybe we're kind of rocking back and forth side to side. Just kind of feeling what this feels like in the body. And then when you're ready, let's come back to our tabletop position. So either our palms are grounded or maybe it's our forearms. We're going to move on to the left side. So straighten out that left leg. Your toes will be grounded. Maybe you'd like to try to drop your heel back slightly. Kind of bring it in towards your body. Press it back. You may notice a sensation in the back of your extended leg. And then we'll come back to neutral. You're welcome to keep your toes grounded. Maybe you'd like to lift that foot a couple of inches off the ground. Just noticing what that feels like. Or maybe lifting your leg just a little bit higher so it's parallel to your hips. And we're going to continue to breathe as we're holding this shape. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to bring that knee in towards your nose. We'll straighten it out. Bend it once more. And back out. And then last time, we're going to bring that knee in. We're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Straighten it back out. Drop those toes to the ground. Rebend that knee. For me, I'm going to kind of come up to this tabletop position, kind of shake it out. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, we're going to move to a thread the needle with our table. So if your hands are grounded, I think I'm going to come up onto the palms with my hands right now. So we're going to lift this right arm towards the sky. Then we're going to bring it underneath our left arm, head down towards the mat. Let's sweep it back overhead. Thread it through. And once more, we'll bring our arm up and then thread it through. From here, we're going to hold it. Maybe your head goes all the way down towards the mat. Maybe you have a block underneath or a blanket, your head. And we're going to breathe as we hold this shape. And when you're ready, we'll sweep that arm back up towards the ceiling and then come down for a tabletop. You may notice that the sides of the body feel a little different since we've worked on this one side. Then when you're ready, we'll come back to our tabletop. We're going to lift this left arm towards the sky, bring it through our right arm, sweep it right back up. Thread it through, sweep it up again, and then thread it through. Maybe we're going to stretch this right arm out long, bring our head towards the mat. I'm going to breathe a few times as we hold this shape. And when you're ready, we're going to sweep that arm right back up towards the sky and then come back down towards our table. So whether you're in just this tabletop here with your palms grounded, or if you're in this forearm, let's all come down towards our forearms. We're going to have your elbows kind of right in front of you. We're still going to be on our forearms. Maybe our toes are grounded and our legs are out wide, kind of rolling this chest back. Let's bring ourselves down to the mat. And then come back up to the Sphinx pose. Maybe you're glancing right in front of your mat, not to overextend the neck. And then we'll come down towards the mat, maybe pressing yourself up with your hands onto your knees. Now we're going to bring our right foot up right in between our hands. So your hands may be grounded, maybe you have blocks underneath your hands. Maybe you'd like to stay right here. Maybe you're glancing right in front of your mat. Or maybe today you'd like to place one hand on your bended leg and then the other. Maybe you're glancing forward. You can stay right here, or maybe you decide to lift your arms overhead. Notice what that feels like. Sometimes the body is a little wobbly here, that's okay. Let's bring our hands back down towards our leg and then down towards the mat. Let's just gently kind of rock this front knee forward and back. We don't want the knee to go past the toes, but just a slight bend, slight straightening out, just rocking back and forth. Then we're going to start to straighten out this right leg. You're going to bring your toes off the mat, still leave a micro bend in this leg. Your hands are going to come back towards your body more, and then start to drop your hips towards the back of the mat. You may notice a sensation on the back side of the leg. Maybe you're glancing at your toes. And then we'll rebend this leg, bringing your hands on either side of our foot. And then we'll bring that leg back to our tabletop shape as we prepare to do a low lunge on the other side. So you'll bring your left foot in front of your right beside your hands. Maybe you decide to stay here, you're gazing right in front of your mat. Maybe you'd like to place your hands on your leg, kind of come up to this low lunge here. Or maybe today you'd like to raise your arms overhead. Whichever shape we're in, we're going to continue to breathe. Always know that we can place our hands back down on our leg or on the mat whenever we would like to. Just honor where you are today. Maybe yesterday you lifted your arms and today you'd like to keep your hands grounded. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to kind of rock back and forth with this bent leg. Just a slight rocking. And our heel's going to stay grounded. Our toes are going to come off the mat. We're going to start to straighten out this leg with a slight bend in the knee. Bringing your hands back towards or on the mat towards your body. Dropping your hips back slightly. You may notice the sensation on the back part of your leg. Maybe we're gazing towards our toes. This is called split spread. And when you're ready, we'll start to rebend this knee. Then we'll put our hands down on the mat. We'll lift up with this back leg, start to walk it forward. It's going to be a halfway lift, so maybe your hands are on your shins, your back is flat. We'll have a slight bend in the knees as we kind of hinge up to standing. So I'm going to come over here now and show you mountain pose. then we'll do a little bit of balancing. So we're going to have both of our feet on the mat, making sure you feel grounded, maybe about hips width distance apart. Maybe just rocking back and forth from side to side, noticing what this feels like on your feet. Maybe rocking forward and back. I'm going to move into some balancing shapes, so you're welcome to use a wall. Maybe you're going to rest one of your hands on the wall. Maybe you're going to just stand on your mat. But we're going to ground the left leg first, so making sure that it's really firm on the mat. And then this first place we're going to go is just we're going to bend the knee and kind of kickstand the foot. So maybe this is where you'd like to stay today. Maybe you'd like to lift this foot up a little bit. You may want to place it right below your knee, with your right knee out towards the right side of the room. Now with your hands, they can either be maybe down here, maybe you place them on your hips, maybe they're raised overhead. Sometimes I notice when they're raised overhead, I start to get a little wobbly, and that's okay. Finding a hand variation that's going to work for you today, knowing that we can always come out of this shape. We're going to fall out sometimes, but we'll just try it again. Keep breathing as we are holding this shape. Maybe you're glancing at a drishti point, which would be something to focus on. And then we'll bring this right foot down to the ground. I like to kind of shake it out. It's always interesting when we finish one side of the body, working on one side of the body, and just noticing how it feels different than the other side. We're going to move to the left side, so we'll have our right foot really grounded into the mat, making sure that you feel really steady. We're going to bend this left knee, maybe just kickstand the foot, just like this, and maybe we just stay here today. Or if you'd like to experiment with lifting this foot up, placing it on your leg, bringing your knee out towards the left side of the room. Finding a variation for your arms, maybe they're on your hips, maybe their palms are together right in front of your heart. Maybe your arms are overhead. And then we'll come out of the shape, shake it out. And then we're going to come down to the mat. So we're going to do a few shapes on our back. So making your way down as gently as possible. Let's bend our knees, have the soles of our feet down on the mat. I'm going to start with our right leg. We're going to do a pigeon. So you're going to cross this right leg over your grounded left leg. And maybe you'd like to just stay here today. This is enough for you. Maybe you'd like to experiment with lifting your left leg. Maybe you interlace your hands behind your thigh. Let's keep our head and shoulders as close to the ground as possible. We're going to continue to breathe as we're in this shape. I'd like to remind you of your anchor. So sometimes when we're holding shapes that might provide a little bit of discomfort, or just kind of a shape that our body's not used to being in, that might be an opportunity for some thoughts to come to mind, or judgments or feelings. Just coming back to our anchor, so maybe that sensation of breath, maybe something that you're touching, or something that you hear. And if your left leg is lifted, we're going to bring that back down towards the mat. Take that right foot, put it back on the ground with your knees bent. Maybe we'll just be here for a moment, breathing, preparing ourselves for the next side. And then when you're ready, we'll take that left leg and just cross it over the right leg that's grounded. And maybe this is enough for you today. You're welcome to just stay here. Or maybe you're curious about lifting this right leg off the ground. You can interlace your hands behind your thighs, keeping your head and shoulders and back grounded on the mat. We're going to continue to breathe as we're here. And then when you're ready to finish the shape, we'll bring that right foot back down towards the mat. Take that left foot, unwind it, place it down on the mat. Maybe take a breath or two here as we prepare for our supine twist. So we're going to bring our hips over towards the left side of the mat, so kind of dropping them over here, and then your knees are going to lift and drop down towards the ground. They may not come all the way down, and that's okay. You may want to place a bolster or a block or a blanket to support. Just dropping those down. Your arms might just be out comfortable to the side. Maybe you have your arms out like a T or a goalpost, depending on how much space you have. And then your gaze can be the same way as your knees. Maybe you're looking up towards the ceiling, or maybe you're gazing over towards the left. We're going to continue to breathe in and out as we're in this shape, knowing that it's your choice to come out whenever you're ready, or if this place is not serving you today. And then we'll bring our knees back up towards center, bringing our hips in line with our body, bringing our arms down. Might be nice to just be here for a moment before we twist on the other side. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your hips over towards the right side of your mat, and then gently drop your knees down towards the ground, maybe supported on a blanket, block, or bolster. Maybe they're all the way down on the ground. Your arms might be out like a T or in goalpost. Your gaze may be towards the left, up towards the ceiling, or over your right shoulder. We're going to work on keeping both of our shoulders grounded. And then we're going to remember to breathe. And when you're ready, you're going to bring your knees back up, facing the ceiling. Bring your arms down. Maybe taking a moment here to notice how your body feels at this point in the practice. And we're going to straighten out our legs. So we're going to move into a lateral stretch, supine. Some people call it banana. So So we're going to go towards the right side of our mat. So you're going to kind of inch your feet over to the right side, bring your arms overhead. They're going to come to the right side of your mat. Maybe you'd like to stay here today, noticing this sensation maybe on the left side of your body. Maybe you'd like to take your left foot and cross it over your right foot. See how that feels. Continuing to breathe as we're in this shape. And then when you're ready, bring your body back to center. Take a breath or two here. Then we're going to inch our feet over to the left side of our mat. Our arms overhead are going to move towards the left side of the mat. Maybe you stay right here in this banana shape. You may notice a sensation on the right side of the body. Maybe you'd like to take that right foot, cross it over the left foot. See how that feels on this side. And we're going to breathe. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to center. Bring those arms down beside you. I'm going to place the soles of our feet on the mat with our knees bent. We're going to kind of spread our feet apart, maybe once again, kind of that hips width distance. We're going to prepare for bridge. So maybe you'd like to stay here today with your upper half of your body grounded, and that's fine. Maybe you'd like to experiment with lifting an inch or two your hips off the ground. See what that feels like. Maybe you'd like to lift them up just a few more inches. And if you're lifted, we'll come back to the ground. Take a breath here. And then maybe you'd like to stay grounded, or maybe you'd like to come up an inch or two again. See what that feels like. Maybe come up another inch or two, see what that feels like. We're going to remember to breathe as we're holding this shape wherever we are. And then we're going to come down. And then for our last shape today, we're going to lift our legs up. So just start to bring one leg up at a time. It doesn't matter how far off the mat. I like to hold on behind my legs just to kind of keep my legs up. Sometimes while my legs are lifted, I like to roll my ankles, point and flex, maybe curl my toes in, stretch them out. Sometimes I even like to just kind of bend one knee at a time. And when you're ready, you'll start to bring one foot down towards the mat at a time. We're going to move into relaxation pose. So stretching one leg out at a time, long on your mat. Arms out to the side. Maybe your palms are up towards the ceiling and that feels nice for you. Maybe your palms are down towards the ground and that's nice for you. You're welcome to soften your gaze, or maybe you close your eyes. This is our pose of deep rest and relaxation. So we're going to just rest in this shape. You're welcome to come out at any moment that you need to. Otherwise, you'll hear my voice cueing you out at the end. So slowly start to come back to yourself. Maybe you begin to notice your body on the mat. If it's helpful, maybe you bring some deeper breaths back into the body. And I'll invite you for just a moment to consider a gratitude that you have for today. Then when you're ready, maybe you start to gently rock your head from side to side. Maybe you'd like to stretch your fingers out long and then curl them in towards each other, stretching your toes out and then curling them in together. We're just going to slowly start to wake up the body. And then let's bend one knee at a time, placing the soles of your feet on the mat, and then gently rolling over onto your left or right side. And then we use that top arm pressed into the ground, gently lifting yourself up, and then join me in a comfortable seat. And as you've arrived at that comfortable seat, I'll invite you to soften your gaze or close your eyes, finding a place to rest your hands. Maybe that's on the ground beside you, maybe that's on top of your legs. And we're just going to go inward one more time, noticing where we are, maybe noticing the effects of the practice. And maybe all of this informs what you decide to do next. Then we're going to flip the palms over and inhale the breath. And then on the exhale, bringing them to touch right in front of your heart. I'd like to thank you for joining me in this practice today. And give yourself and your body thanks for all that it has done for you today. Thank you.